Hello, good evening, and welcome. I'm John Lazarus with Stories Matter and D&E Publishing. Book sales. Like nuclear fusion and justice for the victims of decades of Catholic Church sex crimes, it can be one of the most elusive things in existence. You feel like you did everything right. You wrote from the heart. You told a unique story. You polished and polished, scraping away all the excess fat and mixed metaphors. You got into screaming matches with local independent bookstores to put it on their display shelves. But it's just not selling. And it's hard not to internalize that failure, because you put that much time and effort into this baby, and you neglected your health and personal hygiene for what amounts to nothing. But wait, before you take the batteries out of that carbon monoxide detector, there's something you should consider. The reason that book didn't sell might not have anything to do with its quality or the way you look, or because your chronic masturbation habit meant its release date had to be pushed back a month. We'll look at what went wrong and how to fix it on this edition of Stories Matter. Today's video is brought to you by antidepressants. If writer's block, deadline anxiety, or low sales have got you down, pick yourself back up with a handful of antidepressants. When thoughts of my second and favorite wife start to get me down and affect my writing, I pop a few quick SSRIs and watch the bad feelings melt away. As a side bonus, a common side effect includes insomnia, which means you can increase your writing time to meet those tough deadlines. In fact, I find them so effective, I start taking them whenever I feel like it, even if I go weeks without feeling blue. Visit basically any doctor for more information. Now, for the sake of this exercise, we're going to pretend that you're a good writer who wrote a good book. If that's not the case, though, don't worry. Mark Twain didn't write his first book until 41. Tolkien was 45. Laura Ingalls Wilder was 65. And Ernest Cline, Stephanie Meyer, and Ayn Rand never wrote a good book, but that didn't stop them. All I can say is that if you know you're terrible, maybe just pretend that an AI wrote it and make a bunch of social media posts about that and see if that gets you any traction. Problem 1. You have no reviews. So I'm going to assume most of you are self-published authors here. Hey, no shame in that. I've done the traditional route and the self-published route, and each has their own merits. At least with self-publishing, you won't have any editors or agents breathing down your neck telling you can't say that about Israel. But if you do self-publish, you've got to get reviews on Amazon and Goodreads one way or the other. And shelling out $900 so someone at Kirkus named Jan with 2 N's can call your book enthralling is not the best way to go about it. Instead, go to a crowded cafe or bookshop, find 90 strangers, and pay them each $10 to leave a review. But here's the key. They can't all be positive. See, people generally look at the negative reviews first. When you buy a fleshlight, for example, you don't want to read about the 65-year-old who feels like he's back on shore leave. You want to see if it ripped anybody's dick off. If there are no negative reviews, potential buyers will get suspicious. What's important then is to make those poor reviews seem like stupid, possibly racist rubes who just didn't get it. Tricking potential readers into thinking they're real smart is what being a writer's all about. Problem 2. You have no posse. Nobody gets rich and famous by themselves. It takes years of hard work and exploiting others for your own benefit. You can't promote your work by yourself. You need to network with other writers. Join local writer groups. Spend most of your time promoting them, and it will come back to you. If you don't like their work, or if you know you're way better than them, no problem. Just lie. You can even go for a big swing and try landing an endorsement from a big-name author. Before I made it as a writer, I once waited for Tom Clancy after a book signing, slashed his car tires, and came to the rescue, only incidentally bringing up my struggles to become an author once I gave him directions to the nearest auto shop. But he saw right through it and said he would have beat me up if I wasn't holding a baby. Anyway, the main takeaway here is you need to learn how to lie, and lie well to build relationships. Problem 3. You forgot to make it all about yourself. Never forget that you are the star of the show. Each day, I make sure to spend at least 15 minutes staring at myself naked in the mirror and whispering, "You're a star, you're a star, you're a star." It's a trick I learned from Proust, and it's a great way to focus your energy. Of course, when you start out, you can't sell a book because nobody knows who you are, and nobody can know who you are unless you sell a book. It's a catch-22, which, incidentally, is where Joseph Heller got the title from his struggles as a young writer. You could try becoming a viral sensation by, for example, saving a person caught on the subway tracks, but I learned there's a lot of ways that can go wrong. In any case, these days any asshole with a phone, a flat stomach, and no sense of morals or decency can go viral, so it shouldn't be too hard. Problem 4. Your market is too narrow. Finally, your book might not be selling because there just aren't that many people who would buy it. For example, there probably aren't swaths of readers asking, what if Spain had never seceded territories to Austrian control after the War of Spanish Succession? I know it's hard out there. You've got to compete with movies, television, slam poetry, and ASMR videos of blonde girls running their hands over soft fabric. That's why you should hop onto popular trends as much as you can. Find out who's selling. Female-led dystopian young adult fiction? Sprawling sci-fi sagas? Homosexual dinosaur erotica? Mimic them as much as possible. There's a reason 50 Shades became a massive success, and it wasn't good writing. Keep that in mind. That's all for today. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I'll leave you with this week's This Day in Literary History. See you on the next one.